It's 7 o'clock. Polls are now closed across the Commonwealth of Kentucky.
It's just part of democracy, and democracy doesn't work if people don't vote.
Republicans and Democrats across the state are deciding who they want to replace Senator Mitch McConnell in Washington.
I'm proud to be endorsed by President Donald J. Trump.
We really need a Senate filled with people that know what they're doing on the national security and global security front.
Coming up, we have live election night coverage from across the state as the results in the U.S. Senate race start to come in. Plus, who will take Andy Barr's seat in the U.S. House? We have live team coverage of that race. Then it's being called the most expensive primary election in history after President Trump endorses Representative Thomas Massie's opponent.
The commander-in-chief, the chief executive of the country, President Trump, would not be doing this if they were confident that they were winning. And they're worried that I'm going to win.
We'll take a closer look at the Republican race in the 4th Congressional District. And voters in Lexington choosing the two people they want to see face off for mayor later this year. Our America Votes 2026 election special starts right now. And with that, we say good evening to you. Glad you're with us. I'm Larry Smith.
And I'm Megan Mannering.
It's Election Day in Kentucky, and we have got a lot to get to over the next hour.
Results are starting to trickle in, and we'll have those numbers scrolling on the bottom of your screen as well as on our website.
Now, one race in particular is getting a lot of national attention. Our political reporter, Carolina Buchek, joining us here in studio with the latest. Carolina?
Hey guys, yeah, like we said, national eyes are on Kentucky tonight, and specifically northern Kentucky. Why? Because the test of President Donald Trump's influence on the Republican Party, that is essentially on the ballot. Let's take a look. We've got the Republican primary here. We have the incumbent. This is Republican Congressman Thomas Massie. Now, President Trump is not on this ballot, right? You don't see his name, but he may as well be because he hand-selected Massie's challenger, Ed Gallrein, right over here. He was handpicked by Trump to oust Massie, to get Massie out of Congress. Of course, Massie and Trump, they have been butting heads for quite a bit now, but things have really escalated, and the president has very publicly made it clear that he wants Massie gone. You guys, this race has turned into the most expensive U.S. primary race on record. $32 million spent in ads, most of it negative ads against Massie. Now, let's take a look at the board because we have some numbers in. I'm saying some because take a look. 6% of the estimated total vote in, so the night is young when it comes to results. This is very few results that we're looking at right now, but you can see Massie is behind the leader, Gallrein, by 892 votes at the moment. This is the 4th Congressional District. Let's take a look at Kenton County. We have some numbers here. Once again, Massie behind. But like I said, guys, still very early on in the night. So this is taking a look. This race is shaping up. But also on the ballot tonight, President Donald Trump's influence in the U.S. Senate race. Let's take a look right over here. We have the U.S. Senate Republican primary, and there is a check mark. I am going to double check with our control booth. Guys, are we calling this race? Yes, we are calling this race. Okay, so this was a very handed win. Congressman Andy Barr, the congressman from the 6th Congressional District, has won the Republican primary. This is the nomination. This is a projected win. But LEX18 has called it. While we're at it, let's take a look at the Democratic primary. Nope. Doesn't appear that we have a projected winner yet, but let's take a look at the numbers here shaping up. How did he do in Scott County, you guys? Okay, that's a pretty good numbers. Of course, just 18% of the total vote in there. Do we have anything from Lexington, Fayette County? Nope, not quite yet. It's okay though. The minds behind this, the people who are calling these races, you guys, they are taking a look at the total numbers. They know how many registered voters there are in Kentucky. They don't make mistakes. So you can rest assured that Andy Barr has won the nomination for the Republican candidate. He will be on the ballot in November. The question now is, who will he face? Back to you guys.
Yeah,
That's right, absolutely. Carolina, back to you in a moment. By the way, one other note that LEX 18 is also one race prepared to call Hal Rogers. We are calling it for him in the 5th Congressional District. Kevin Smith had put out an ad campaign trying to unseat him, but the incumbent Hal Rogers, it appears we are calling that race for him as well. More on that to come here in this next hour. So for the first time since 1985, Kentucky will not be represented in the U.S. Senate by Mitch McConnell after the senator announced his retirement last year.
That's right. Nearly 24 candidates running to replace McConnell in the Senate. And as Carolina just said, our Republican candidate will be Andy Barr. LEX 18 has called that. His biggest competitor there, Daniel Cameron, but Andy Barr looks to be taking that nomination. Annie Brown joins us live from Andy Barr's watch party at Central Bank Center with the latest there. And Annie, what's it feeling like?
Well, Megan, I've been talking all evening about this confidence that we've been hearing from Barr's camp. Obviously, that was well-founded. Andy Barr, our projected winner. We are expected to hear from him at Central Bank Center in just a little bit. But let's take a look at what this race now sets the stage for in November. Republican candidates are obviously vying for Senator Mitch McConnell's seat in the general election in November. Now, the Republican side, Congressman Barr was always a front runner. We have known that for quite some time now. What Barr believed to be his advantage, though, was Trump's official endorsement. Now, he also spoke to how crucial this election is last night.
Here we are on the precipice of a great election, and there's a lot on the line. The difference between our candidacy and the other side, it's the difference between socialism and freedom. It's the difference between honoring our veterans and denigrating our military. It's the difference between supporting law enforcement and defund the police.
And we will be hearing much more, I am sure, from Congressman Barr later tonight. Once again, Congressman Barr, our projected winner. We are now going to head over to LaGrange, Kentucky. That's where we find our Drew Ammon. He is there at Daniel Cameron's camp. Hey, Drew.
Yeah, good evening to you, Annie. And, when you talk about the fact that we've just called this race, the projected winner being Andy Barr, very fluid situation. You can see here at Chapel 1888, the room is really filled up with Daniel Cameron supporters, and not really sure at this point how much the word has spread about the votes that have come in and what we've just told you here within the last few minutes in terms of the latest developments in this U.S. Senate race. We can tell you that this is certainly brought a lot of attention, of course, because as Larry and Megan and Carolina and Andy have mentioned, Mitch McConnell had a 4 decades long run, decided not to seek re-election. So again, this was hotly contested, and Daniel Cameron, somebody who has been endorsed by Lindsey Tichenor, a Kentucky State Senator. We just spoke with her just past 5:30. She was praising the fact that she thinks Cameron has a lot of integrity, a lot of consistency, and would bring a lot to the table in any situation politically in terms of helping to reduce gas prices, bring a fresh perspective is the way she said it in terms of Medicaid. And so, again, high praise from Tichenor, who, of course, we'll catch up with throughout the course of the night as we await word here from Chapel 1888 on what Daniel Cameron has to say about this race with former Kentucky Attorney General. I'm live here in Oldham County in LaGrange on West Jefferson Street. Drew Ammon, LEX 18 News, back to the studio.
Drew, thanks for that. Okay, that's the Republican side, so we know that is set. Andy Barr will be on the ticket for the Republicans. How about for the Democrats now, running for McConnell's Senate seat?
Okay, and looking at, the top contenders we've been talking about all night, Amy McGrath and Charles Booker, still waiting for more results to come in. Again, those are going to be at the bottom of your screen. But looking at our website, it looks like Amy McGrath is in the lead with the votes that are in now with about 3,700, followed by Booker with just about 3,000 votes, the votes that are in so far. But we're going to turn it over to Charles Booker's campaign party, and that is where we find our Lee Searcy tonight. Lee, what can you tell us? How are the vibes?
Well, we've got the music playing and Charles Booker supporters are beginning to trickle in, but I think they're watching the results cautiously. I think people are staying very calm and just kind of waiting to see how this shakes out. We have not seen Charles Booker yet. We're told that he is watching the results privately elsewhere and that he will speak to us when everything is said and done. Now, he already had a very busy day. He spent the first part of the day in Bowling Green and then came back to Louisville this afternoon. Early on, polling showed that him as the front runner for the Democrats in this race to try and take Senator Mitch McConnell's long-held seat in November, but we'll just have to wait and see what happens. He's run for U.S. Senate twice before and lost pretty handily. Political experts say even if Booker wins the Democratic nomination, the odds, it would be an uphill battle for him going against a Republican in this state. Booker, who is 41 years old, supports Medicare for all, free public university tuition, and a government that he says helps everyone. Now, again, we have not seen Charles Booker yet, but we are told by his campaign crew that he will come out and speak to us once the results are in. So I hope you can hear me. The music is kind of loud. For now, we're going to send it to LEX18's Ellen Ice, who has been with the Amy McGrath campaign. Hi, Ellen.
Hey, Lee. So I'm here outside of the state Democratic headquarters, a much, much quieter scene here. They said they were opening the doors around 7. I haven't quite seen that yet. I have been in contact with Amy McGrath's campaign. They say if it's a good night for her, and we know what that means, she will end up right here and she will be speaking to me. Let's go ahead and take a look at some video. A little bit about Amy McGrath. She is a Marine veteran and former fighter pilot, and she is, of course, vying to be on the ballot in November to fill Senator Mitch McConnell's seat. She has actually faced off against Charles Booker before. She defeated Booker in 2020 for the party's nomination and later lost to McConnell. McGrath says her focus is on helping Americans afford to live, eat, and see the doctor, basically being able to afford our lives. She says this is a historic moment to make a change and turn the tide in Kentucky. Now, I talked to her before this earlier today, this afternoon. I asked her what voters need to know about her, and she said very staunchly that she is a patriot and she is here for Kentuckians. And she said, especially given the situation with the war in Iran, that folks should lean on her extensive military background. Now, again, Amy is hopefully going to be here this evening. That's what her campaign says if everything goes her way. I'm doing just a quick check of the numbers here, as we're all doing tonight, kind of keeping an eye on things. Looks like she is currently in the lead, around 3,700. Of course, this is very early numbers. Booker has just close to 3,000. So we will keep a close eye on this on air and online. For now, I'm going to send it back to you, Larry and Megan.
And thanks so much for that. So if you're just joining us, just walking in the door, we've already called the race for Andy Barr. He will be the GOP nominee in the Senate seat vacated by Mitch McConnell. We've also already called for Hal Rogers in the 5th District. And just now, LEX18 is calling the 1st District for James Comer, who is a veteran there in Washington. We say he will again win that race and be the GOP nominee coming up in November in the 1st District.
Well, with Andy Barr leaving the House of Representatives, voters are deciding who they want to replace him in the 6th District here in central Kentucky.
Let's look first at the Republican primary. Former state senator and Tennessee Health Commissioner Ralph Alvarado is the leading candidate in this one. You can see right now he is leading as well. He was doing well in polling. This is again very early, just a couple of percentage points in so far.
And here is a look at the Democratic primary. You can see there, as we've talked about all night, Zach Dimbo taking the lead, which is really no surprise there. Sherilyn Stevenson not too far behind. Again, it's early. In northern Kentucky, Republican voters are deciding on a race that's being seen as a major test for President Trump. Representative Thomas Massie is facing a primary challenge from Ed Gallrein in the 4th Congressional District.
Massie has fallen out of favor with President Trump, even though he has voted alongside Trump more than 95% of the time. Trump, though, endorsing Gallrein for the Republican nomination in the midterms. And right now, early on again, Gallrein is leading 57% to 43% over Massie, who again has been in that position now since 2012.
And whoever wins tonight will face the winner of the Democratic primary, Melissa Strange or Jesse Brewer there. And as it stands, it looks like Melissa Strange taking a very handed lead there, 74% of the votes.
Very early there, voters in Lexington choosing who they want to lead the city for the next 4 years.
Coming up, we'll take a look at the race for Lexington mayor. Our America Votes special continues after this.
Welcome back to our special hour-long edition here on Election Day as we turn now to the Lexington mayor race where incumbent Linda Gorton is facing a crowded primary. No numbers in just yet. The top 2 vote-getters will move on to the general election in November. Again, we'll keep following this for you all evening long as well. AJ Patel just heard from Mayor Gorton and joins us now with the latest from there. AJ.
Yeah, Larry, right now we are at Ramsey's on Zandel right here in Lexington, where, like you said, we're waiting for the Lexington mayoral results. And Linda Gorton is in there right now with a small party, just enjoying a meal, waiting for those results to come in, just like we are. And she says after they do come in, she'll be meeting us in the parking lot to, just give her a take on how things go. I know, like you said, it's a crowded race. There's going to be several other people there vying for the same spot that she's seeking her third term in. Last time she was in a primary, she secured more than 70% of the votes, and I'm sure that she's hoping the same happens this time around. Again, this is an evolving situation. We're waiting for her to come out after those results come in, and we'll be back as soon as that happens. So for now, in Lexington, AJ Patel, LEX 18 News.
All right, we'll check back in with you in a few minutes, AJ. Our election night coverage continues in just a moment.
Yeah, Carolina is back. We're now going to look at the races that we're watching all evening long right here on LEX 18 News. Welcome back to our coverage here on Evening Edition. As we mentioned earlier in the show, the first race that our experts called was the big one, the GOP nod for the U.S. Senate seat. It is Andy Barr. He will be on the ballot for the Republican side, and we'll still find out who his challenger will be coming up in November.
LEX 18 has called this race pretty early, so to understand how we were able to do that, let's send it over to our political reporter, Carolina Buchek, who will also be touching on some other things that we are seeing tonight. Carolina.
Yeah, guys, the speed at which we call this, honestly, it even caught me by surprise. It did. I don't know if you guys noticed there, but I was like, oh, let me double check here. So Andy Barr has secured the nomination. And I mean, take a look, right? 9% of the total votes. So you may be wondering, how can you guys call this so early? Well, I went back to our newsroom. I asked Mike Taylor. He is the brains behind the LEX 18 elections operation. I asked him, how were you able to call this so early? He says what he was seeing was that Barr is leading pretty much in every single county but one, and he's noticing a very big pattern here. His call was backed up by the Associated Press and everything, so this race is pretty decided at this point. As other election analysts like to say, they've seen enough. Mike Taylor has seen enough tonight. But let's take a look at the Democratic race. We have another primary. Okay, 6% of the total vote in. That is still pretty close, but again, not that many votes in. I'm going to check in with Mike Taylor to see if he can give us any analysis before I come back, but as of right now, nothing to call here. Let's peek in on the 6th congressional district because this is a very interesting race. This is going to be a biggie in November because National Democrats, they want to flip this district. They want control of the U.S. House of Representatives, and of course, Republicans, they don't want to give it up. They want to keep this district red. So let's take a look. Okay, do we have anything on the Democratic side? Okay, we have the former federal prosecutor, Zach Dembo. He's in the early lead. It is the very early lead. And then we have Sherilyn Stevenson. This is kind of playing out like how the polling told us, that the race would likely be between these two. As far as flipping goes, polling was showing that Zach Dembo, he had slightly better odds at flipping the seat over Sherilyn Stevenson, but she said that she had experience doing so in a House race. Now let's take a look at the Republican primary, right? We have another primary in this district. Okay, nothing to call here, but in the lead as of right now, the early lead, we have former State Senator Ralph Alvarado. Ralph Alvarado has a very powerful tool in this race. He has the support of President Donald Trump. That is big, and that has proven big tonight when it comes to Andy Barr. So we want to see, will that trend continue? Now, another thing that we want to peek in is the 4th congressional district, the Republican primary, because when it comes to a Trump showdown on the ballot tonight, guys, it's in northern Kentucky. That's where the battle is happening. That is where the president wants to take out Republican Congressman Thomas Massie, and he handpicked this challenger, Ed Gallrein, to run against Massie. Trump wants Massie out. Right now, we've got 18% of the total vote in, and Massie appears to be behind by about 3,000 votes, right? Still very early, not ready to call anything here. Let's check in on this county, Mason County. All right, we've got Massie leading in one of these counties. I should point out, you guys, unseating Massie is going to be a very difficult gig. When we took a look at his past elections, all of these counties that make up the 4th congressional district, he has not lost any of these counties since his very, very early elections. I'm talking back in the 2010s, right? So Thomas Massie puts up strong election performances. Tonight, I think the numbers are a little tighter than the Thomas Massie camp would prefer. However, like I said, it's still early. We're not anywhere close to calling this race. Back to you guys.
Carolina, thanks so much. You're right, exactly. You mentioned earlier 40% victory margins, what he's enjoyed over his career. And so, again, much tighter tonight. We'll see how that finishes up. Coming up, voter registration may be down in Madison County, but turnout is surging.
We'll show you which 3 races are driving people to the polls. That's next. Welcome back in. Voters in Madison County had a full ballot today, voting on offices like County Judge Executive and City Mayor in Richmond.
Our Madison County reporter Caleb Barnes talking to voters and officials to learn how this year's turnout compared to previous primaries.
I'm Caleb Barnes, your Madison County reporter, checking in on voter turnout at the primary here in Madison County.
The folks are turning out, which is good.
Madison County Clerk Kenny Barger said voter registration went down, but voter turnout is up.
In the same cycle last 4 years ago, we had a total of 11,500. So we've already surpassed that number.
The races for Madison County Judge Executive, Richmond Mayor, and the U.S. Senate are 3 big draws, bringing both new and long-time primary voters.
I've never missed an election since 1972.
If you don't do the primary, you have to vote for whoever we've already pre-chosen for you.
So have the voters noticed more people at this year's primaries?
Not really, that's the same. Sometimes I've seen it less.
A little more buzz because of the situation in Washington and with the war and tariffs and all of those types of things.
According to Barger, early voting was up this year as well. He said total turnout could be in range of presidential primary voting.
We're going to be up in the 15,000, 16,000 range easy. It'll be 20% to 15,000, and we may be over that, which is presidential range.
In Madison County, Caleb Barnes, Evening Edition.
Big races this primary, like the open Senate seat to replace Mitch McConnell, are drawing attention across Kentucky.
But in eastern Kentucky, voters are also closely watching local races that will bring new leadership for the first time in years. Rowan County reporter Alex Barber talking to voters about the race in their community that matters most to them.
I'm your Rowan County reporter Alex Barber. In the weeks leading up to the primaries, I learned that there was one local race that captured the community's attention.
County clerk. Right now, I'm really interested in the county clerk.
Well, this is a small community, and we have 2 outstanding individuals running for the county clerk's position today.
All eyes are on the Democratic candidates for Rowan County Clerk, Brian Mason and Tyler Brown. The race for this elected office has been heating up because the current Rowan County Clerk, Elwood Cottle Jr., isn't running for re-election. This means the office will soon have new leadership for the first time in years. Cottle made a big splash in 2018 when he defeated Kim Davis. Davis made national headlines when she was jailed for defying federal court order to issue marriage license to same-sex couples. As Cottle Jr. finishes up his second term, he told me the reason for not running again is simple.
I've been in politics basically 30 years. I've been in the courthouse 30 years. So, you know, a person knows when it's time, and I think it's time.
The Republican candidate for the Round County Clerk, Christy Smith Bailey, was uncontested this primary, and she'll face off the Democratic winner in November. In Round County, Alex Barber, LEX 18 News.
More Election Day coverage is next. We'll be right back. One of the most closely watched House races in the country, incumbent GOP Congressman Thomas Massie is trying to make it through the primary to run for another 2 years in Washington.
Yeah, Massie, one of the biggest critics of the Iran war. He's also been against the lack of releasing of the Epstein files, and so that has made him a frequent target of President Donald Trump, who has endorsed his challenger, retired Navy SEAL Ed Gallrein, and right now Gallrein is ahead by about 13%. Now, again, we've talked before all evening. Thomas Massie has been in the seat since 2012 and has had an average winning margin of more than 40%. So even the numbers right now, this early, a bit of a surprise. We'll see if he can keep it up. As again, we've talked about, there is still a long way to go to decide a winner here.
A lot of attention on that race. In the U.S. Senate, nearly 24 candidates from both sides of the aisle are running to replace Senator Mitch McConnell.
Now look at the results right now as we take a look. We've already said that Andy Barr, we determined earlier this hour, will be the winner of the Republican nomination and will move on to November and take on a Democratic challenger. Our Annie Brown is in downtown Lexington with the Barr campaign. Annie, what's that atmosphere been like there tonight?
Well, guys, it took just an hour and we have a winner. That is Congressman Andy Barr as the U.S. Republican primary winner. Now, honestly, it's been really good vibes here the entire time, but that confidence has really shown in the past half hour or so. Barr is expected to talk to reporters in about 30 minutes, so we are still waiting that. But if you look behind me, you can see the stage is being set for a big celebration. We just heard a sound check not too long ago, so they are getting ready for a big party, a big celebration there. Now, as we've said, this race was so important because Republican candidates are vying for Senator Mitch McConnell's seat, of course, in the general election in November. On the Republican side, Congressman Andy Barr truly came out a front runner. We knew that for quite some time now. Now, what Barr believes his advantage is, of course, Trump's official endorsement. He spoke to how crucial this election is last night.
I'm proud to be endorsed by President Donald J. Trump, the only candidate in this race who has been endorsed fully and completely by this president.
And we will hear much more, I am sure, from Barr very soon. Right now, though, we're going to head to LaGrange, where our Drew Ammon is. He's at Daniel Cameron's camp. Hey, Drew, what's it like out there?
Good evening, Andy. Yeah, we can tell you that we're here at Chapel 1888, and this is in LaGrange. We're here in Oldham County, and, they talked a lot about how supporters here really wanted to speak about the values that Daniel Cameron brings to the table, rooted in faith, rooted in religious liberty, and rooted in the Second Amendment when it comes to opinions from Lindsay Tichenor. Tichenor, of course, a Kentucky state senator who we spoke with just after 5:30 tonight. She talked a lot about how Cameron's been consistent. She highlighted the fact that he has a lot of integrity, and time and again, she has supported his platform. So we'll hear more from Lindsay Tichenor throughout the course of the night. But as far as the mood, we've already talked about the fact that Andy Barr is a projected winner in this race. So we're going to catch up with some more supporters here who have been here since about 6 o'clock tonight. We're still waiting for Daniel Cameron's arrival behind me here at the podium. Again, they have the projector up there in terms of the results. And we're going to talk more about what the former Kentucky Attorney General has to say about this race. Again, as Andy mentioned, he was not endorsed by Trump, but felt had he earned the seat that he could still work with Trump. Tichenor, the aforementioned Tichenor, had mentioned that having not served in D.C. Really is somewhat of an advantage for Cameron moving forward in any capacity. But again, the projected winner, as we've mentioned tonight, Andy Barr in this race. We're here live in Oldham County. Drew Ammon reporting, LEX 18 News. Guys, we'll send it back to the studio.
Drew, thanks for that. So the Republican winner, again, that'll be Andy Barr facing off against the winner of the Democratic primary. A look at the current results right now. As expected, it is between those two candidates, both who have the previous experience on the state level. Amy McGrath with a narrow lead over Charles Booker right now. That's where we are. McGrath's supporters, by the way, gathered at Kentucky Democratic Party headquarters in Frankfort. Last time we checked, those doors had not yet opened.
I know our Ellen Ice patiently waiting to go inside and speak with McGrath in person and see what the atmosphere is like at her camp. So let's send it back out to Ellen and see if we have any updates.
Hey, Megan and Larry. Yeah, no updates quite yet on when Amy will arrive, but her campaign tells me that she will be here if this goes in her favor. Now, We've all been watching the numbers. I've been watching them, and they are close, and it is still pretty early. However, it has gone from 1,000 30 minutes ago to 1,200 to 1,500. Amy does have a bit of a lead right now. Let's go ahead and take a look at some video. Fighter pilot, and she is, of course, vying to be on the ballot in November to fill Senator Mitch McConnell's seat. Now, she has actually faced off against Booker before. She defeated him in 2020 for the party's nomination and then later lost to McConnell. McGrath says her focus is on helping Americans, especially affordability. She says this is a historic moment to make a change after 42 years of McConnell having that seat and turn the tide in Kentucky. And I asked her what voters should know. She said right now, especially in this very moment, we need to be talking about the war in Iran and how it's being handled. She said folks should look to her extensive military background and lean on that. Of course, the polls are closed now, but that is what she's hoping voters took away today. And again, just checking it, she is still in the lead. We will keep you updated on air and online. And of course, her campaign hopes they will be here in Frankfort tonight because that means they have secured a victory. Megan and Larry, back to you.
All right. Thank you, Ellen. Like she said, McGrath in the lead, but it is neck and neck with McGrath and Charles Booker. Our Lee Searcy is in Louisville with the Booker campaign. Hey, Lee.
Well, hello there. Yes, it is still the Charles Booker watch party here on the west end of Louisville. The stage is empty. We still haven't seen Charles Booker. He is watching the returns with his family somewhere else. The music is upbeat, but I have to tell you, supporters here are cautiously optimistic. They're sitting down at the chairs, having a few drinks, eating a few things, and watching their phones and the television screen very closely, wanting to know if he can pull this out. This is his third run for U.S. Senate, so he's hoping that the third try will be the charm. Now, while the polls showed him as the front runner for Democrats in this race, you see the numbers being returned tonight, and Amy McGrath has the edge so far. So I guess the mood here is reserved. The 41-year-old Booker has touted himself as a regular guy who wants government to work for all, for everyone. He's hoping that the so-called regular people will send him to Washington to replace the retiring Senator Mitch McConnell, who has served as long as Booker has been alive, again, 41 years. So again, the mood here in Louisville is cautious, I guess, but they're not giving up. They still think he has a shot at pulling out this win tonight. Of course, we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Back to you all in the studio.
All right, Lee, thanks so much. Well, our political reporter, Carolina Buchek, is back right now. She's been checking some numbers, and she's back here in the studio at the big board with the very latest results. Carolina, what do you have?
Hey, you guys. Yeah, so results are trickling in slowly, right? We're at 23% of the total estimated vote, but things have moved quickly already, right? Nothing quicker than this Republican race for U.S. Senate. LEX 18 has projected that Andy Barr is the winner very early on. The the way the votes were just coming out, it was very obvious that Mr. Barr was going to win this race. And that is what polling was telling us coming into this. Of course, he had that Trump backing that is significant in Kentucky, and that proved to be beneficial today. Let's take a look at the Senate race that we do not have an outcome for. That is the Democratic primary. All right, just taking a look at the numbers. Okay, so we've got 20% estimated total vote in. Not enough. Not enough. These numbers are very close. I'm sure Mike Taylor is back in our newsroom right now saying this is way too close to call. But let me take a look. What is this purple thing over here? All right, this is Bell County. Okay, we have another candidate in the lead in Bell County. That's exciting. But as of right now, Louisville has some numbers in. Jefferson County, that's important because that is a massive amount of Democratic voters, right? If you want the Democratic nomination for this race, you're going to have to perform well in Lexington and Louisville. Right now, very early numbers, but Charles Booker in the lead. Booker is from Louisville. He has performed well in Louisville before. So will that trend continue tonight? That's what we're looking at. Let's take a look at the spicy race on the ballot today, if we will. It is the 4th congressional district, the Republican primary. And of course, I said this one's spicy because President Donald Trump is very publicly trying to oust the incumbent, the Republican Congressman Thomas Massie. Right now, 47% of the estimated total vote in. Guys, these numbers are pretty close. I'm sure if Thomas Massie is watching right now, watching these returns come in. Not exactly what he wants to see, but he did say leading into this election, he says that he can win. And honestly, in prior elections, we have seen his performances have been pretty dominant. Are there any Yes, there are a few counties that he is winning. So we've got Mason County, we've got Lewis County, but we need the bigger counties, you guys. We need the bigger counties to see what is going to happen here tonight. And of course, the nation's eyes are on this race. Back to you.
Okay, thanks so much, Carolina. Well, there are contested primaries in most of Kentucky's U.S. House districts. We'll take a look at those results coming up next.
Welcome back into our America Votes coverage. All 6 of Kentucky's U.S. House seats are up for election this year.
We begin in the 1st district where it looks like Republican James Comer will comfortably win his primary. We've already projected the winner here. Our team here in LEX 18, he'll move on to the general election in November.
In the 2nd district, Brett Guthrie survives a challenge in the Republican primary, sailing past his competitors.
In the 4th district, we've been talking about it all evening long. Again, this is tightened up. This was a 13 percentage gap for the challenger, Ed Gallrein, that has been tightened up right now. Thomas Massie, the incumbent, trying to get this win and the nomination to move on to the general election in November. 5th district, longtime Congressman Hal Rogers survives a primary challenge, and so he will go on to face Democrat Ned Pillersdorf in November. Finally, in the 6th district here in central Kentucky, wide open race as incumbent Republican Andy Barr now running for Senate. You can see Ralph Alvarado is the polling favorite. He is leading right now, but again, this race also is very early on.
And on the Democratic side for this race, very, let's see, up in the air, Zach Dembo leading, but not by much. With the votes that are in right now, Dembo taking about 39% of the votes, followed by Sherilyn Stevenson with 32%.
Another pair of closely watched races in Laurel County, which has gotten plenty of attention the past couple of years, especially after that fatal police shooting of Doug Harless.
Incumbent Sheriff John Root is facing 3 challengers in the Republican primary, including Robbie Grimes, a former major in the sheriff's office. Very early numbers show Root is in the lead.
The mayor of London also up for election this year. Current Mayor Randall Weddle facing 4 campaign finance felonies related to contributions to Andy Beshear's campaign. He was impeached by the London City Council last year, but has been reinstated by a judge. One of his opponents in this race, Tracy Hanley, appointed acting mayor after Weddle was impeached. Now the top 2 here will move on to the general election. Our America Votes special coverage continues after this. Stay with us.
Welcome back into our election night coverage. We're going to send it over to our political reporter, Carolina Buchek. It looks like LEX 18 has just called a race, Carolina.
Yes, we have. The little check mark hasn't popped up here, but LE18 has called the U.S. House District, 6th Congressional District Republican primary for Ralph Alvarado. That is what polling was telling us coming into this race, that he was honestly the clear favorite coming into this race. He had the backing of President Donald Trump, and that proved to be very effective for him tonight. So very soon there will be a little check mark. He is our projected winner. I asked our election head back in the newsroom, I was like, how were you able to call this? Because we don't really have any numbers from Lexington. He says based on what he is seeing, it's just not enough to overcome. So the race has been called for Ralph Alvarado. Let's take a look at the Democratic primary in this race, though. Okay, nope, these numbers are too close to call, but we do see that it is becoming a two-person race, which is what polling told us, between Zach Dembo and Sherilyn Stevenson. So we are very interested to see which candidate comes out on top tonight, and this candidate will then face Ralph Alvarado on the November ballot. Let's take a look very quickly at the 4th Congressional District. This is the one where President Donald Trump is trying to oust Republican Congressman Thomas Massie. You guys, we have 69% of the estimated total vote in. These numbers, they're not great for Massie. There's no need to panic yet. We still need a lot more numbers. This race was going to be a close one, according to polling. They were saying it was going to be razor thin margins, and you guys, that's what we're seeing. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Carolina. More Election Day coverage when we come back.
All right, you guys, we have a development. Just moments ago, I was taking a look at these numbers in the Republican primary for the 4th Congressional District, and I said these numbers were not looking good for Thomas Massie, and you guys, they were not. LEX18 has called this race. We are projecting that the winner of this race is Ed Gallrein. This is the hand-selected challenger. He was hand-selected by President Donald Trump to defeat Thomas Massie, and that appears to have played out in northern Kentucky tonight. This is actually following a trend that we're seeing across the country. There have been other Trump-backed candidates who have been challenging Republican incumbents, and they have been seeing victory. That's what we see in Kentucky tonight. So very interesting. Thomas Massie has performed very well in prior elections, but apparently that was not enough to overcome Trump's popularity. The president remains incredibly popular in Kentucky. That is what we are seeing here tonight. And we are also seeing that he has quite a lot of influence over the Republican Party in Kentucky. Will that play out in other places across the country? That's still to be determined. But here in Kentucky, Trump's pick has won, defeating the incumbent Republican Congressman Thomas Massie. Let's take a look really quickly at some of the other races. Of course, on the Senate side, LEX18 called it for Andy Barr, but on the Democratic side, we are still taking a look. Okay, those numbers are still too close to call, only 28% of the estimated total vote in, so we're not ready to make any moves here. Let's take a quick look at the 6th Congressional District. This is the Democratic primary. We've got Zach Dembo in the lead. Sherilyn Stevenson, 1,600 votes behind him. So this is still pretty tight. Too early to call. But then on the Republican side, LEX18, I don't know why the little check mark isn't up here, but just imagine it. It is here, you guys. Ralph Alvarado is the projected winner of this race. So the stories are shaping out tonight, and what we are seeing is that President Donald Trump has had a lot of success in Kentucky.